Okay, so now that we've read those two books, they're both nonfiction, but they're both very different. One of the books is for a younger audience, probably kids that are just learning about space. The other one seems to be a book that might be for more of an older audience. Um, um, Maybe a kid in a science class who's trying to research water or thinking of a science fair project. And so he's looking at some experiments to do with water for a science project. Um, Both of these books will inform readers about their topics. And um, the author's voice will be connected to like which audience they think that book it would be more useful to. So as a student author, you'll want to think about that. You'll want to think about, am I writing for younger kids? Am I going to do a literary nonfiction and have kind of a more playful voice? Or am I going to be writing a more formal voice in my work that maybe an older student would use, and something that's more reference versus literary? So kind of think about which kind of voice you might use as an author. Okay, so for your reading today, pick out some books, obviously nonfiction again, and think about that author's voice. So I don't need you to answer these questions, but I wanted to read them because this might help you fill in your chart. And I'll put this document in the assignment, but you don't have to fill this one out. Okay? Just think about the questions. All right. So, when you're thinking about the author's voice, do you feel like the author is speaking to you and cares about the message or the topic? Why? What does the author do in their writing that helps communicate how much they care? I think Walter Wick really cares about water because he puts so much time into all those small details, those facts about a really commonplace substance. Okay, question number 3. Does the voice match the purpose and the audience? So I would say that Faith McNulty's book does. If I was a first grade teacher trying to teach my class about space, I would definitely use that book. It would be entertaining. The kids would laugh and think it was funny, but they would also learn a few facts about space. How do the visuals, the illustrations or the photographs or the diagrams, because you might have all kinds of visuals in your book, how do they contribute to the voice? When things are kind of cartoony, like in If You Go to the Moon, it makes it seem a little bit silly. But if I look at those photographs that Walter Wick did, it's more serious. It can also, like the colors, and If You Go to the Moon, the colors were real bright and then a lot of black and white because we think of space being very black and white. And then if you are in Walter Wick's book, it's kind of monochromatic. You can think about the book, the illustrations supporting the text, but you're not like distracted by them. In Faith McNulty, Stephen Kellogg's illustrations, they might I might look at the illustrations more than I would actually read the text sometimes because the visuals are telling a story too. And so, but in Walter Wick's book, I would definitely want to read the words that go with the pictures because there were no captions or anything like that. So I wouldn't know what the visuals were showing me unless I read the text. Okay. And then I'm scrolling down. Okay, which word best describes the voice of this text? I love this list right here. This doesn't have to be the whole list of words that would describe a text, but if you're stuck on a word, here's some good words that you could use. All right, so this is the chart you're going to fill out. So again, you do not have to do all of these lines. I do not want you to read 5 books today, unless you just want to. If you're into reading these nonfiction books and you have some time today, go for it. But at least 2, 3, a lot of the comments that I usually make, if on these charts would be, you've got to tell me enough information to prove that you understood the lesson. No one-word answers, no shorty little phrases. I'm definitely looking for, some sentences or some longer phrases. So, no cool, good, nice, loved it. No, that does not count. So, for author's voice, this is where I would use those words down here on number 5. Okay, so that's a good place to catch some words. You don't have to use those words, but those are some good words to use. Evidence from the text. So this is where I want to really see that evidence. If you say playful, why? So use the lesson video. That's going to explain which kind of voice you're hearing. All right, and then does the author inform readers of many things that they probably didn't know? All right, so my inclination would be to say, yeah, he does. Yeah, sure. Or no, not really. Do I want that kind of answer? Absolutely not. You need to explain your answer. So if you say yes, then you're telling me why. If you say no, you're telling me why. So make sure that when you are answering that 4th column, that you're explaining why. How do you know as a reader the facts that you were reading today? Okay? And how did that voice contribute to those facts? Okay? So I would say, if I was doing Walter Wick as an example, I'd say the author's voice was serious, evidence from the text. Got lots of facts, lots of sections. I would probably name some of the facts, like the water was like an elastic. The water holds together like little magnets. And then I would probably learn more about water in his book because there's so many sections. There's experiments to do at the end. If I was doing Faith McNulty's If You Go to the Moon, I would say that her voice is playful. Okay. I'm seeing in the evidence, I would say the illustrations were cartoonish. There was some silly stuff in there, like taking peanut butter sandwiches. I know there's no astronauts taking peanut butter sandwiches to the moon. And then over here, I would say you probably learn less facts in this book because there is a story that's attached to the facts. And because it's for younger readers, you would only want to put a few facts because it's something that they're just starting to learn about. And I think she wanted to entertain readers as much as she wanted to teach them about space. Okay, so I'll type that up so you have a little example of what it should look like. But you are going to read your own books. Do not copy from my observing voice chart. Okay, you're going to read your own books in daily reading today. You can use the same books that you've used all week, or if you want to change and read another book, that's fine with me too. All right, enjoy your daily reading today, and I look forward to seeing what topics you're reading about and your thoughts about author's voice.